Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a wider child's pose position. Bring your hands down to the ground. Allow your knees and your ankles to separate as wide as you feel comfortable. And then send your hips back to your heels. Crawl your fingertips out long in front of you. And start to bring your focus and awareness to your breathing. So we're finding a bit more range of motion right away into our hips and possibly into the inner thighs. Allow your hips to sink heavy and feel these big breaths coming into your back space. Create space in your lower back with every inhale. And every exhale, allow your fingertips to crawl a little further out in front of you. Notice areas of your body you may be holding on to tension. Try to find a little bit of movement. Maybe that's a shake of your head, a shift of your hips from side to side. And keep just this little bit of movement going. And gradually make your way up to a tabletop shape. Press yourself up, tabletop all fours. And we'll start off with a big circle of the hips. So I like to flip my toes under, bring your knees a little bit wider, push your hips way to the right, back to your heels and around to the left. And we'll take about 3 to 5 big circles. You can really push into your hands as you push your hips back to your heels. And then after you've done 3 to 5 in one direction, go ahead and take this the other way. And as you're moving into your circles the opposite direction, really think of pushing your hips as far to the left as you can. Begin the circle just a little bit slower and then let momentum kind of take your hips down and back up and around. And after you've done 3 to 5 of those, bring yourself back to tabletop, lift your right knee, and then externally and internally rotate through the right hip. So you're just pointing your right knee out to the side, and then it will slightly internally rotate. And take about 8 of these, just kind of moving back and forth. Try not to allow your pelvis to move. Gently lower your right knee and start to take this on the opposite side. Lift your left knee up and begin to externally and internally rotate through your left hip. So we're finding movement through the hip, but trying to maintain stillness in the lower back and through the pelvis. And try to shift a little more weight into your left hand so you're not just sagging into your right shoulder. Find engagement through your core to support your lower back. And then gently lower your left knee back down to the mat. Now step your left foot so it comes towards the front of your space. Rotate your right shin. And then bring your left toes so they're slightly further forward. So the ankle doesn't have to be directly under your knee. And now bring your left elbow to your left knee. And just hold here. So I'm finding a very gentle rock forwards and backwards. I have my back right toes flipped under, and I'm just getting a little bit deeper into both hips really here. And now we'll start to move a bit through the arm. So take your right arm and start to swing it forward, reach forward, up and back. We'll take about 3-ish circles in one direction, and then start to move this in the opposite direction. Try to stay as heavy as you can through the hips. Allow your left foot to be slightly extended past your left knee. I want to do the opposite here, so bring your top right arm back and around. Try to reach your right fingertips down to the ground, the left arm comes up, and maybe lift your left heel up off the ground. And then switch, bring your left elbow down to your left thigh, right arm over your right ear, and then we move between these two postures. So bring your right hand down to the mat, find this reverse posture, and then switch. So your left elbow comes down to your left thigh, your right arm comes over your right ear. And we'll continue to move through, finding a nice lengthening sensation into your side body. Keep your chest open instead of closed off. And then last time here, with your left elbow down, swirl yourself to a pigeon pose. So your right shin will sweep around, come in front of your body, Take a few moments in an upright position and then start to crawl your forearms down to the ground, and you can release your head. And this will be a shorter pigeon pose. We'll be here for about 5 to 8 big breaths. And every exhale, allow your torso to go a little bit heavier towards the ground. Notice tension you're holding in your jaw, your eyebrows. Try to release that with your next exhale. And take a few more big breaths. Breathe into your right hip. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. And then slowly make your way up so your hands can come under your shoulders. Bring yourself back to a tabletop position. Extend your right leg back long behind you and just take a few moments to shake out through that right leg. It doesn't have to be pretty. You can shake it around. You can open your knee, find external and internal rotation, and then bring your right knee down to the mat. We'll take all of this on the opposite side. So this time step your right foot so it comes more to the back of your mat. Your right foot can extend past your right knee, and then find a few moments here for a very gentle bounce into both of your hips. So you're just shifting your knee, your right knee, towards your right toes. Your right forearm can rest on your right thigh. And then hold nice and low with the hips. Bring your left fingertips in front of your face, reach forward, up, and back. And take about 3 to 5 of these big circular movements. Finding a little more length and opening into the hips, but also finding some nice range of motion into the shoulder girdle. And then start to take this the opposite direction. Think that each circle could get a little bit bigger. Stretch through your fingertips, stretch through your left side body. And then after this last one, we're gonna move into a reverse of this position. So your top left arm, start to bring it back behind you so it comes outside of your left knee. Try to bring your left fingertips down to the mat. Reach your right arm over your right ear and pop your right heel up. Option to pop your right heel up. Keep your hips open, keep your chest open. And now this takes a little bit of oblique movement here, oblique action. Bring your torso upright, bring your right forearm to your right thigh as your left arm stretches up and over. And we'll move between these two postures. So your left hand can once again come down to the mat, right arm up and over. Maybe the right heel lifts. And then switch, right forearm comes down to right thigh, left arm up and over your left ear. And then one more time moving through each motion. Finding a bit more length through both sides of your body. And then on this last one, move yourself to your pigeon pose. So rotate your left shin, slide your right ankle so it comes further back behind you, and allow your head to be as heavy as you can. Your chest is heavy. Notice tension you're holding onto in your jaw or your shoulders. And we're here for about 5 to 8 breaths. Think of your inhales filling the space between your shoulder blades. Think of breathing into your left outer glute. And find a few more moments of heaviness with breath. See if your breaths can get even longer. And then slowly start to make your way out. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders and push yourself up to a tabletop position. Take your time getting there, but once you arrive in your tabletop position, your left leg can extend back long behind you, and you can take a few moments just to shake out through your left leg. It doesn't have to look like anything too pretty. Just allow a little bit of fresh, oxygenated blood to return back to the joints of your left leg. And then bring your left knee back down to the mat. And we'll find these hip circles once again. So separate your knees a little bit wider. And just as we began this session, push your hips to the right. Find these nice, big, juicy circles. Take a couple one direction and a few the opposite direction. Notice any differences in sensation through your hips that you may be feeling. And then after this last one, bring yourself to a sitting position. We'll come to a cross-legged seat. One ankle on top of the other. Bring your hands to rest on your knees or your thighs. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. Feel your butt bones rooted. Feel the tops of your ears pulling up to the ceiling. Notice tension you may be holding on to in your neck, shoulders, eyebrows, jaw. Try to allow that tension to melt away with your next exhale. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.